365 Sports.
Welcome back to 365 Sports Mizzou with Rogue Media. My name's Davis Wilson. Thanks for joining me on this Thursday. Sort of a weird time in the college sports calendar. You're kind of waiting, for football, you're sort of waiting on stuff to get going again. You have obviously bowl games coming up, playoffs coming up, transfer portal coming up, but none of that is happening now. You have players entering the portal or stating their plans to enter the portal, but you don't really have any activity. Recruiting's not really going on. Missouri doesn't play for another 16 days. The playoffs don't start. When is the first round of the playoffs? I actually don't know. Let's see. The first round is, let's see here. It's like the 19th and 20th. So that isn't even for another week. This week, all the football has is Army-Navy. Army-Navy, which is a game that I love and I've watched pretty much every year. It's an awesome game. That game is at 2:00 on Saturday. So I'll watch that, of course. But other than that, for Missouri, not a ton happening. Just kind of an awaiting game. I know the team is probably preparing for Virginia already, but as fans, there's not a ton to talk about. But I have cobbled together some just little news tidbits that have come out about Missouri, and we'll talk about those. And then there's a huge college football storyline that dropped yesterday. Michigan head coach Sherrone Moore is fired, I guess with cause. He's let go. He was let go yesterday, and apparently it was just a very sudden thing. I'll get into that later, but let's start with Missouri. Missouri stuff. The first thing, Ahmad Hardy is starting to get the awards rolling in, which is no surprise. He was incredible this year. I think he was Missouri's best player. I think you could definitely argue that. He had 1,560 rush yards, 16 touchdowns, averaged 6.5 yards per carry. Really great season. Really good season. He was named the AP SEC Newcomer of the Year. And, I can't really think of – what is that out there? I can't really think of anything off the top of my head to compare it to, but I imagine it has to be one of the greatest first years in the SEC that we've seen from anybody. So a really good year for him. He also has been named a first-team All-American by On3 Sports, by CBS Sports, and by The Athletic. So that's cool. That's very good. Jeremiah Love, running back from Notre Dame, is going to New York for the Heisman ceremony. I get that, maybe Notre Dame was the better team this year, but I think Hardy was, statistically, he ran for more. So I think Hardy deserved a consideration, at least an invite to the ceremony. Maybe that is reserved for next year because, remember, Ahmad Hardy is a true sophomore. So he will be back next year and presumably 1 year better. I imagine he'll be a favorite to, at least compete for the Heisman, which would be pretty cool. The AP Associated Press also released their all SEC first and second teams. Missouri has 5 guys on the list, 3 first-teamers, 2 second-teamers. The first-teamers are Ahmad Hardy, of course, left tackle Caden Green, and right tackle Keegan Trost. Those are your 3 first-teamers all on the offense. And then the second team is both defense. You have linebacker Josiah Trotter, and you have defensive tackle Chris McClellan. So no Zion Young, no Damon Wilson, kind of surprising, but all these guys very deserving of that. Caden Green is going to be a really interesting guy to watch because he can come back if he wants. And I kind of imagine that he is not going to be like a first-round pick. I don't know where he projects to go, but I wonder if he'll come back and say, I think, one more year of this, I can get my stock up and whatever. I think that would be pretty cool. But that's obviously, it all depends on kind of how people see him. So I'm interested to see if they could get him back on the left side of the line, that immediately is a huge boost to next year's team. And then Keegan Trost on the right tackle side, he's out of eligibility. I think he's like 24 years old or something. He's pretty old. So he's done. Josiah Trotter, another guy who could go or could stay. Depends on the evaluation and everything. Chris McClellan, I'm actually not sure. I think he could go. It's going to depend. It's going to be interesting to see which of these guys stay and which of them go. I was looking at a NFL mock draft by Field Yates on ESPN. I like to just check them out. And there was a Missouri player on it, and this would make me really happy. But they have Damon Wilson Jr., the second, going to the Dallas Cowboys with the Cowboys' second first-round pick from Green Bay. That would be awesome for me. I'm a Cowboys fan, obviously, and that's a position of need for them after they traded Parsons. So if they could get Damon Wilson there on the edge, man, I would be pumped. I hope that I don't know. I think it would be a great spot for Damon. I think it would be a good thing for the Cowboys. So I always just like to check and see. It seems like Damon Wilson is a guy who could go in the first. I've seen some Zion Young name. I've seen him pop up a couple times in various mock drafts in the first round. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see for sure. Yeah. All right. Some more Missouri news. Offensive coordinator Kirby Moore, allegedly a candidate for the head coach opening in Pullman for Washington State. Kirby Moore is a Washington native. There was a video going around yesterday of him him at the Pullman airport there. There was a report from Washington State's 247 page that he was there for an interview or a visit or whatever. Missouri's 247 guy said the video was not actually Moore, but there is some, I don't know. I think it is clear that he is a candidate there for Washington State. And it all would kind of make sense to me. I think he's kind of been on the cusp of, being able to take a head coaching job. He's done a good job here at Missouri for the last 3 years. Obviously, his first year here was kind of a revolutionary thing for this offense. The last two have been steps down from that, but still not a bad offense. He was obviously, you have Ahmad Hardy running all over the place. I think he deserves some sort of credit, some level of credit for that. But yeah, I think he's going to get a head coaching job someday. And this one feels right. Obviously, he's from there. He's had experience coaching up there in the Northwest, like Boise State. He was there. So, I think it'd be great for him, obviously, and I think it might be good for Missouri too. I think that he has done a good job here, and that but I think maybe a change in offense might be a good thing, especially with the increased salary for assistants that Drinkwitz gets in his contract. I don't know. I think it might be a good thing for both parties, but something to keep an eye on at least. He's I do think he's going to be a head coach someday, and this feels pretty good. All right, that's all the football Missouri news. I have a couple basketball things. Missouri's 5-star recruit Jason Crow Jr. is having an incredible high school season in California right now. He just broke the all-time California scoring record. Yeah, I think it's like his 1,000. That cannot be right. I don't know how many games he's played, but he has 3,682 points in high school, which breaks the record, and he still has, basically a full season ahead of him. He broke this record the other night by scoring 51 points. 51. He's just probably the best scorer in this class, at least one of them. He's averaging 42.9 points per game. I don't know what kind of competition he's playing. I don't know what division he's playing in California hoops or whatever, but I don't care. Scoring that many points is insane. And when you look at Missouri's offense this year, especially against Kansas recently, it's like, man, they could use a guy like that. They could use a guy who can just go score. Still very excited to get the next year's class on campus. And, I don't want to start looking towards next year already because there's a lot of season left in this one. But for obvious reasons, next year is going to be pretty exciting. So, but this year, like I said, still a lot to cheer for and a lot of season left. Missouri returns to action tonight, having lost 2 straight to Notre Dame and to Kansas. They are hosting Alabama State tonight at 7 o'clock on ESPN. Alabama State, not that good. This is a game that Missouri should win for sure. Missouri, I think, is favored by like 25 and a half, it looks like. But yeah, Alabama State. This should be a game. They're the Hornets, by the way. They're 3-6. The Alabama State Hornets. They got beat up real bad by Florida State. They beat UAB. They got beat real bad by Colorado, by Air Force. And then now they've lost 3 in a row to SIU, Edwardsville, New Mexico, and UT Martin. So they're on a slide. And they play – their next couple games are tough. They play Missouri, Cincinnati, Memphis, Mississippi State. So a tough way to close for Alabama State. This is a game Missouri should win. There's not a ton to say about it. They should win this game easily. It shouldn't be a problem. So I believe this game, SEC Network Plus, whatever that means, I don't know. But it is at 7 o'clock, and Missouri is here it is, 27.5 point favorite. So an opportunity to get back on track for the Tigers. All right. Like I said, not a ton to talk about right now, to discuss, but there is a huge story in college football right now. And that is Sherrone Moore, the head coach at Michigan, who took over when why am I blanking on his name? Jim Harbaugh, that's who it is. Golly, what the hell was that? Jim Harbaugh leaves for the NFL. Sherrone Moore takes over. This was his second year, and man, crazy story. So apparently, Sherrone Moore was engaging in a extramarital relationship with a member of his staff, which is against Michigan policy, or it's against the law there in Michigan. So he is fired for cause. You don't have to pay a buyout. He's just done. And I think the way it happened is pretty shocking because, I mean, he's just gone. He was in the building preparing for their bowl game on Wednesday. And which was yesterday, obviously, Wednesday morning. He was fired Wednesday afternoon, evening. He's gone. And then he is also, there's all sorts of rumors circulating on Twitter, and I'm not really gonna get into that. Because there's been no official reporting on what is happening with him, but for some reason or another, he was detained by Michigan police. He's under arrest. So something else probably happened outside of him just being fired. Usually you don't get arrested for getting fired. But yeah, that's a tough one, obviously. And now it's interesting. You have, like, we've been talking about this coaching portal all off season, or all, not even off season. We're not in the off season. For the last couple months, it's been all about this coaching carousel. And finally, it looks to slow down. You have Lane Kiffin go to LSU. You have Pete Golding get hired by Ole Miss. You have Drinkwitz signing an extension. You have Summerall to Florida. All the big jobs start to get filled. Penn State gets their guy. And then it kind of looks like it's going to slow down. Obviously, some of the smaller jobs still are open, but to have a job as big as Michigan open this late after kind of the action has slowed down is really rare. And it's going to be, I mean, they can afford to go hire a sitting big time coach. I don't know who that will be. There's obviously, lists that people are publishing about who they could hire. And one name that's on it a lot is Kalen DeBoer of Alabama, who is about to coach a playoff game against Oklahoma. And apparently, if that goes south, there's a chance he is a candidate for Michigan. So just to play this game, say Michigan hires Kalen DeBoer from Alabama. I think Michigan is a worse job than Alabama, but there seems to be – it doesn't seem to be an awesome – I mean, look, I still think that Kalen DeBoer is a great coach, but there seems to be just maybe not be a total fit there with him in Tuscaloosa. I don't know. So maybe a change of scenery would work, although they're in the playoffs. Like, it's crazy that some Alabama fans would be okay with losing their coach that just took them to the playoffs. But let's say that happens. Now Alabama is open, and I think realistically, I don't know that there is a better job in the country than Alabama, really. I mean, like maybe Georgia is up there, Ohio State is up there. I think Texas is probably up there, but Alabama it could be the best job in the country. I don't know. There is an argument to be made there. And we always heard about, when Lane was still at Ole Miss, we always heard he wants the Alabama job. He's going to, although he didn't take it last year after Saban leaves, which I don't know if they were serious about hiring him. It feels like, maybe that would have been something he wanted to do, but we've always heard about Lane Kiffin to take over at Alabama someday is his dream, because he loves Nick Saban and he worked there and everything. So what happens if Alabama has a vacancy and Bama calls Kiffin, recently hired by LSU, and says, "We want you here"? Can you imagine the outburst that could happen here if, before coaching a single game, Kiffin leaves for Baton Rouge for Tuscaloosa? I don't think that'll happen. I think that's crazy, but it is at least a funny thing to think about. But yeah, I mean, Michigan opening up right now could cause so much chaos that we don't even understand. Like some of these coaches that sign extensions or turn down other jobs are suddenly and probably, I mean, Michigan is a different story. That is a big, big job. I would rank it. I'd probably rank it maybe in terms of like the whole carousel this year. It was LSU, it was Florida, it was Auburn, it was Penn State, all those big schools. I think I would rank it pretty level with LSU. I think maybe on par with LSU, but ahead of Florida, ahead of Auburn, ahead of Penn State for sure. So this is going to be a big thing. If they can go get someone who's already, a big name, a sitting head coach who's a big name, I think it could shake things up, which could be pretty interesting. But something to watch there. Hopefully Sherrone Moore's okay and everything. Just seems like a crazy situation. But, we'll see. We'll see what happens. One thing I did forget in terms of Missouri news is running back Marquise Davis, true freshman from, I believe, Ohio. He committed late last year before signing day. I remember writing about it. He was committed to Kentucky back in the day and then flipped to Missouri kind of right before the season, or it's not the season, but the early signing day happened. He's from Cleveland, Ohio. He was a 4-star recruit, the 11th best running back in the class. He is in the portal, will not play for Missouri next year. Not totally surprising because, they've got a pretty good running back room right now. And this is a guy that, played pretty well in a couple of these games. In garbage time, he got in a couple times and looked good. So he does seem like a guy to me that can play right now. So I think it's a wise move for him. But he scored a touchdown in the season opener against Central Arkansas. Ran for 10 yards in that game. Against Louisiana, he ran 20 times for 113 yards and a touchdown. That was his best game of the year by far. And then against UMass, he had 9 carries for 77 yards. So only played in 4 games, retains his red shirt, which is a big deal, but he will be playing elsewhere next year. And good luck to him and everything. That's pretty much all I have. That's all I could scrounge up right now. It's been a struggle figuring out what news to talk about. But I'll be back tomorrow to talk about something. I'm going to keep you guys on your toes. It'll be a big surprise, but come back tomorrow. Come back tomorrow. That's basically the point. Sorry for that pause. I got distracted by my phone. Before I go, receive this quick message, and then I'll let you guys go.
Missouri, your moment is finally here because DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook app, is now live in your state. Now you can make every game even more exciting with same-game parlays, money lines, props, and more. All from your phone, all safe, secure, and easy to use. Missouri fans know game day, the tailgates, the noise, the passion. Now, with DraftKings Sportsbook, you can bring that same energy to every snap, every touchdown, every win. And right now, new Missouri customers can bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets instantly. No waiting, no nonsense. Just pure action powered by America's top-rated sportsbook app. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code ALLMIZZOU. New Missouri customers bet $5 and get $300 in bonus bets instantly. That's code ALLMIZZOU. Crown is yours in partnership with DraftKings Sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER, 21 plus, physically present in Missouri. Eligibility and restrictions apply. Terms at DraftKings.com/sportsbook. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see sportsbook.draftkings.com/promos.
All right, you heard the man. If you want to New Missouri customers can use all Mizzou code on DraftKings to get a good little free play deal. So if you want to bet on Army Navy this weekend, bet responsibly, of course, but go to DraftKings, use all Mizzou, and it'll be good. All right, that's all I have for today. Thanks for joining me. Come back tomorrow. Appreciate you guys.
365 Sports.